The oldest map in the world wasn't found in a library or a museum. It was carved into a rock slab over 4,000 years ago in northern Spain, and what it shows will completely change how you think about ancient humans. For decades, archaeologists walked right past it, thinking the marks were just random scratches. They were wrong, dead wrong. This map reveals that Bronze Age people knew things they shouldn't have known. Things that make modern scientists lose sleep. And the more researchers study it, the weirder it gets. Because this isn't just a map of mountains or rivers. Because this story actually involves two impossible artifacts, and they're connected in ways that'll blow your mind. But first, Nebra. In 1999, two treasure hunters with metal detectors were illegally digging on Middleburg Hill when they found something that shouldn't exist. A bronze disc about the size of a dinner plate, covered in gold symbols, stars, a crescent moon, what looked like the sun, and a curved band of gold dots that made no sense to anyone. The treasure hunters tried to sell it on the black market for $400,000. They had no idea what they'd actually found. When police finally recovered it in 2002, archaeologists examined it, and their jaws dropped. This wasn't just art, it was a sophisticated astronomical calculator created 3,600 years ago. The Nebra sky disk showed star positions, tracked solar and lunar cycles, and even predicted eclipses. Bronze Age farmers made this, people we thought barely understood basic math. But here's where it gets crazy. The Nebra sky disk wasn't alone. Just 800 miles away in Spain, archaeologists had been studying something even older at a site called Fuente Lazaro. The random scratches had a pattern. She drove to the storage facility the next day. What she discovered would change archaeology forever. Those weren't scratches. They were deliberately carved, measured, and precise lines. Dr. Torres brought in a team of experts. Geologists, mathematicians, astronomers. They used 3D scanning technology to map every single line on the slab. The scans revealed something shocking. The carvings were organized into distinct sections, circles within circles, straight lines radiating from a central point, and dots arranged in clusters. Features that didn't exist in Bronze Age Spain were right there on the stone. Modern geological surveys later confirmed something incredible. The map depicted landforms that had been buried under thousands of years of sediment. Places that ancient people couldn't have seen unless they had aerial views. Or unless the map was much, much older than the carving itself. Dr. Torres published her findings, and the archaeology world exploded. Critics said she was just seeing patterns that weren't there. But then other researchers examined the slab and found more. The dots weren't random either. Danger, death, do not open, they had to know. Inside the box was another map, smaller, carved into a piece of meteoric iron. This map showed all 7 continents, including Antarctica, not just the coastline we see today, covered in ice, but the actual landmass beneath it, the mountains, the valleys, the features modern humans only discovered in the 1950s using sonar. How is this possible? Antarctica has been covered in ice for at least 6,000 years. The ancient people who carved this map would have needed to see the continent before it froze. Carbon dating confirmed the metal was at least 10,000 years old. The implications were staggering. Either ancient humans had technology we don't know about, or someone else made this map. Someone who could travel the world and see the Earth from above. The Spanish government imposed strict secrecy as they began excavating more sites in Morocco, Turkey, and France. At every site, they found the same thing: buried structures, advanced construction, and more maps. It was like finding a library hidden underground, and the Fuente Lazaro slab was the key. One of the researchers on the team, Marcus Chen, started noticing patterns others missed. The symbols on the maps weren't just markers, they were instructions. He decoded a sequence that led to a remote cave system in the Pyrenees. Inside, the walls were covered not in typical cave art, but in technical diagrams. Drawings of machines, devices with gears and levers, and structures that looked like spacecraft. He even found metal tools made from alloys that required temperatures Bronze Age people couldn't produce. Marcus documented everything, but when he returned to camp, the senior researchers were gone, with just a note about an emergency meeting. Then his phone rang. An unknown voice told him to stop looking, forget what he found, and never speak of it again. This only fueled his determination. He made copies of his research and went back to the cave alone. On his 4th day, he found a hidden passage behind a false wall. It opened into a massive chamber, and in that chamber stood a machine, intact, waiting. It was about 10 feet tall, made from a metal that didn't rust or corrode. Its surface was covered in the same symbols from the maps. He approached carefully. There was a panel with touch-sensitive plates. He reached out and pressed his hand against the center. The machine hummed to life. A holographic projection appeared in the air, showing Earth rotating. But it wasn't modern Earth. The continents were positioned differently. Antarctica was green and ice-free. The projection zoomed in, showing advanced cities with towers and bridges. Then the projection changed. Something was falling from space. A massive asteroid. It struck the ocean. Tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes. The sky filled with ash, the temperature dropped, and the ice age began. The cities disappeared, buried under water, ice, and time. The projection ended. Marcus stood there, shaking. He had just witnessed the end of a world we never knew existed. Thanks for watching. If this story blew your mind, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think really happened.